What do we mean by parallel construction? So I will give you a very simple example, and the example is given here. The example is given here, and with this example, I would like to start my session. Please compare these two sentences and tell me which is the better one according to you. There are two sentences given here, and one sentence says Napoleon was an ambitious, vengeful, and capricious dictator, which is sentence 1. And the other sentence says Napoleon was full of ambition, vengeful, and capricious. Which one do you think is better? Please don't have a look here, and using your intuitive understanding of language, which one do you think is better? Some people say 2, some people have said 1. Napoleon was an ambitious. What is ambitious, by the way, people? It's an adjective, right? What is vengeful? It's an adjective. And what is capricious? It is an adjective. They all are modifying the noun dictator, correct? So you would say that Napoleon was an ambitious dictator, Napoleon was a vengeful dictator, and Napoleon was a capricious dictator, right? People, can you all hear me? Right? So I can say that all the three are basically adjectives modifying a noun dictator, correct? What is happening in the second case? What is happening in the second case? Napoleon was full of ambition, right? He was full of vengeful. I mean, Napoleon was full of ambition, so this should have been he was full of vengeance, correct? And he was full of caprice. So if I have to, it is the wrong structure. I mean, it looks good because you all think it looks good. But if I have a better option, that is statement 1, or if I replace vengeful with vengeance and I replace capricious with caprice, then you get a feeling that the second one is a better choice, right? I mean, both Napoleon was, and Napoleon was full of ambition, vengeance, and caprice becomes. So either, my point is, either all these three should be nouns or they should be adjectives. You can't keep one as noun and the other two as adjectives, right? In the second case, the first description was ambition, which is a noun form. The second was vengeful, which is adjective. So that means you are describing the same person, but you use noun in one case, and in the other two cases, you have used adjective. So my point is, either you use nouns in all the three cases, or you use adjectives in all the three cases. But a mixture of noun and adjective would be considered as incorrect. So what do we mean by this? It means expressions of similar content and function should be outwardly similar. In other words, if I go to my new board, I would say similar ideas must be in the same form. What do you mean by the same form? Either in the same grammatical form. I would like to just replace this and I would say in the same grammatical form. When I say same grammatical form, it basically means if all are adjectives, then they must be adjectives. If all are nouns, they must be nouns. Like for example, I love to swim, right? To dance. And it says I love to swim, to dance, and to sing, right? So I have kept the three ideas in the same form, right? To dance, to swim, and to sing. Hello. Okay. So I love to swim, to dance, and to sing. Can I replace sing with singing? Would you accept this sentence? I love to swim, to dance, and singing. Why won't you accept this kind of sentence? Because you get a feeling that if the first form is to swim and the second form is to dance, then why should I keep the third form as singing? I would keep the third form as to sing, or I would keep these two as I love swimming, I love dancing, and I love singing, or simply and singing. That means, in short, Similar ideas must be in the same grammatical form. So what do you mean by similar ideas? I mean, we say that similar ideas must be in the same grammatical form. So when I say same grammatical form, it basically means either they all should be, if they are all verbs, then they should be all in the verb form. If they are all adjectives, then keep them as adjectives. If they are all nouns, then keep them as nouns, right? So what do you mean by similar ideas? Similar ideas are those ideas, please understand this, which are logically comparable. So we were discussing basically what kind of ideas are similar ideas, okay? Uh, the point was that whenever you have logically comparable ideas, we call them as similar ideas. So the definition was, what is a similar idea? Similar ideas are logically comparable. So when I say logically comparable, what do you mean? Can you say swimming, dancing, and singing are comparable things? They are comparable, right? Similarly, to swim, to sing, and to dance are comparable things, right? So when I come to the main example here, now are you clear with what kind of ideas can come in parallel? Now we have just discussed a few things. I think people, we can go ahead. If it happens again back twice or thrice, we can then discontinue. But as of now, what we were discussing, that similar ideas are comparable and they must be in the same form, right? Now my next question to you people is, what kind of ideas are comparable, right? Now look at this, please read this part here. What kind of ideas can be parallel? Can you all see this, people? Can you all hear me? Right? What kind of ideas can be parallel? In the earlier sentence, we had seen adjectives, right, coming in parallel. We have seen adjectives coming in parallel. We had seen nouns coming in parallel. we had seen we had seen infinitive, right? What is infinitive? The to form of the verb. To plus something, to plus action is basically infinitive. So we had seen adjectives coming in parallel, we had seen nouns coming in parallel, we had seen infinitives coming in parallel. In fact, anything can come in parallel. Now look at this. In examples 1 and 3 discussed above, we have seen, yes, gerund also can come in parallel. I love singing, dancing, and cooking. All these are gerunds, right? The ing form of the verb acting as a noun, correct? In examples 1 and 3 discussed above, we have seen both nouns and adjectives having similar form and structure. In fact, anything can come in parallel. Nouns can come in parallel, verbs can come in parallel, any part of speech can come in parallel. And now I am going to give you some examples of what can come in parallel. Look at the first thing here, right? What are the three elements that have come in parallel? Napoleon was ambitious, vengeful, and capricious. What are these three things, people? They are adjectives. And all the things have come in parallel. So did you observe something? What indicates parallelism? My question is, what indicates parallelism? Can you give an answer? What indicates that a parallel idea is going to come? Right? What indicates parallelism? Conjunction. People understand. Whenever you see conjunctions, it means basically something is being joined. What do conjunctions do, people? Can you please tell me, what do conjunctions do? Conjunctions join something. Conjunctions can join verbs. Conjunction can join, they can join sentences, they can join words, they can join phrases, they can join anything, right? So I would say John and Jack are rich, correct? So what has the conjunction? Where is the conjunction, people? The conjunction is here, right? And what has the conjunction joined? The conjunction has joined two nouns, correct? John and Jack are rich but stupid. What has, there is one more conjunction now. What is the new conjunction, people? So what has but joined? But has joined what two things? Rich and stupid. Because you need a contrast and therefore you have used but. Right? It is joining two words. It is not joining clauses, people. But has joined two words, rich and stupid. Correct? They both are adjectives. So the first conjunction has joined two nouns, right? And the second conjunction has joined two adjectives, right? John and Jack are rich but stupid and are not liked by many. Correct? I have added one more element to my sentence. I have used three conjunctions: and, but, and here, right? So can you tell me what is each conjunction joining? This conjunction is joining two nouns, right? This conjunction is joining two adjectives. What is this conjunction joining? What is this conjunction joining? It is joining what comes after it, right? What comes after this conjunction are, right? What is are? Is it a clause or is it a verb? It's a verb. That means this conjunction is joining the verb. So where is the first verb? The first verb is here and the second verb is here. That means John knows, correct, and speaks English. Can I say this is correct sentence? Where has the conjunction come? The conjunction has come here, right? And what has it joined? It has joined two verbs, knows and speaks, correct? So how do you guess what is the conjunction joining? Depending on what comes after the conjunction. I would say Mark is known to others but is almost unknown to my friends. Correct? So where is the conjunction, people? The conjunction is here, right? Mark is known to others but is almost unknown to my friends. This is the conjunction, right? What do you have after the conjunction? Is, right? That means the conjunction is joining others and is. I mean, is the conjunction joining others and is, or is the conjunction joining this is and this is? Correct. That means it is, you have to guess that, but after but you have is. But that doesn't mean what comes before but is being joined. What is being joined might come quite earlier in the sentence. And this is precisely why your reading comprehension goes for a toss. I will go to my, okay. So what do you have here? The Mughal emperor. Can you all hear the thundering and the? Of course, you can't see the lightning, but I think you all can hear the thundering. So it says here the Mughal emperor Babur captured Delhi, fixed his headquarters, and proceeded to execute. So what are the ideas that have come in parallel, people? The three verbs have come in parallel, right? Okay, good. What has come in parallel in this example? Just read quietly and enjoy the session. There is no need for you to hurry. Just enjoy the different varieties of expression. Correct? So what do you see here? Softly, gently, and warmly, he whispers. Are these adjectives or are these adverbs? I don't know who is PG, but these are adverbs. Why? Because they are describing an action. Softly, gently, and warmly, he whispers, I love you in her ears. So these are adverbs which have come in parallel. Now, what do you think has come in parallel here? Directed by Akira Kurosawa and released in 1954, Seven Samurai is one of the greatest epics of all time. What are the two ideas that have been joined by and? The first idea is directed and the second idea is released. Do you call them verbs or do you call them participles? If this is the verb, then what is this? If these two are verbs, then what is this? No, people, that's the reason why you have missed my initial sessions. I took the earlier sessions and I clearly explained the difference between, I have explained the difference between what is a verb and what is the other form of the verb. Ananta, you have to go to my channel and you have to look at the different forms of the verb. And only then you will understand that the verb is samurai, seven samurai is the subject of the sentence, and the verb is, while directed and released are basically adjectives. They are acting like participles, right? Directed by Akira Kurosawa, Seven Samurai is one of the greatest epics of all time. Okay, so these are two participles. Here you have connecting the two biggest cities of the country and managed by the federal government. The National Highway 6 is the lifeline of India. So what is the main idea? The main idea is the National Highway 6 and the verb is. So the National Highway 6 is the lifeline of India. And what is this National Highway 6? It is connecting the two biggest cities of the country. So this entire thing becomes some kind of modifier which modifies what? The National Highway 6. People, are you following me? So I can say, I will just give you this example, people. This is very interesting because if you miss on this, then you will miss on many of the other things, right? Can I say that uh, uh, John is wealthy? Okay. So this is a very simple sentence, right? John is the subject of the sentence, and I can say is the verb, right? John is wealthy. Wealthy is the adjective, correct? I can modify John. How can I do that? Uh, I can say known to others as Jonathan, comma, John is wealthy. Or I can give some other name. Known to others as uh, uh, the known to others as the rude man, correct? Comma, John is wealthy. So who is known to others as the rude man? I mean, known to others as the rude man. About whom am I speaking? I'm speaking about John. So can I say this is a modifier, people? It's a modifier, right? Known to others as John, or known to others as the rude man, John is wealthy. Or I can say uh, uh, called as the father of the nation, or I would say hailed as the father of the nation. So please forgive me with my examples. Uh, Known as the or hailed as the father of the nation. What should I put here, people? Hailed as the father of the nation. What should I put here? Mahatma Gandhi, right? Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd October. So what is the main idea of the sentence, people? Can I say the main idea is Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd October? This is the main idea, right? And what is the modifier? What is the modifier? Hailed as the father of the nation or known as the father of the nation, correct? Hailed or known as the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd. So can I say that this modifier is modifying what? Mahatma Gandhi. Everyone is happy with this. Can I say that hailed as the father of the nation is modifying Mahatma Gandhi? Can I add two modifiers with the conjunction and? I can do that, right? I can say known as the father, hailed as the father of the nation, and so I can say hailed as the father of the nation and known as the naked fakir, right? Even Mahatma Gandhi was called as the naked fakir by Winston Churchill. So how would I say? I would say uh, hailed as the father of the nation and called and also and known as the naked fakir to many Britons. Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd October, right? So what have I joined with the conjunction and? I have joined two things: hailed as the father of the nation and known as the naked fakir to many Britons. Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd of October. So can I say that I have joined two, two modifying phrases with the conjunction and? Everyone is following me? I have joined two modifying phrases with the conjunction and, correct? So I will come to my, I will just hold on. Someone has knocked my door. Just hold on for a while. I am back. Okay. So both has, yes, they both have to modify the same idea. They both have to modify the same idea. So what do we see here? What do we see here, people? Connecting the two biggest cities of the country and managed by the federal government. So what is connecting the two cities? The National Highway 6. And what is managed by the government? The National Highway 6. And therefore they are being joined by the conjunction and. Why? Because they both are modifying the same noun, which is National Highway 6. Is this clear, people, to you, that that conjunctions need not always join adjectives and nouns and verbs? They can also join participles. So these are participles. They are acting like modifiers. Participles are basically modifying elements that modify a noun or a pronoun. Is it clear to all of you? Can I go to my next sentence and give you the next example of what comes in parallel? The president walked out of the room, smiling at the reporters and waving his hands. People, if you have missed the earlier sessions, you please go through my videos and you will get to know the difference between participles and gerunds. Because in my earlier sessions, I had explained all the differences. So you will get a fair picture of it, okay? As of now, you just think that, okay, they look like ing forms, and you will get better clarity if you go through that. The president walked out of the conference hall, smiling at the reporters and waving his hands at the public. Right? So can I say smiling and waving are the two ideas that have come in parallel? Right, people? Smiling and waving. Look at this now. My opinion is not only different from but contrary to yours. So the adjectives have taken a preposition and they have come together in parallel. My opinion is not only different from but contrary to. So different takes the preposition from and contrary takes the preposition to, and they both have come in parallel. Is this clear to you, people? The prepositions to and from create a parallel structure, right? I am concerned not about what happens in the country but about what happens in my house. So what has come in parallel? What is the idiom? Not X but Y. You can always see many examples in the newspapers in which we use the structure not X but Y, where X and Y are parallel. So you would say, I am concerned not about you but about my son. What has come in parallel? You and my son. A pronoun and a noun have come in parallel. Have you heard of this thing that I come here, not that I love Caesar less, but that I love Rome more, right? Have you heard of this famous quote? So what he says, not that I love Caesar less, correct? What comes after this? But that, right? That I love, correct? Brutus says this, right? So what has come in parallel, people? This is an example that has come to us from the past which goes back 400 years, right? Not X. What is X? That I love Caesar less. What is Y? That I love Rome more, correct? Aren't they in the same form? That I love Caesar less, that I love Rome more. So can I say not X but Y have come in parallel? And can I say the same example is repeated here? I am concerned not about what happens in the country, but about what happens in my house. So can I say that parallel ideas always have a musical quality in them? And therefore, people who speak with parallel ideas, they create some kind of music in their sentences. It has that flow, it has that punch, which is very good to hear. Right, people? So these are the examples. I am happy not because the company is doing well, but because my promotion is almost certain. So I am happy not but, right? So I'm happy not because that's thundering. You don't think that my voice is fluctuating. My voice is the same. It is the thundering in the background. So yeah, You say that I am happy not because the company is doing well, but because my promotion is almost certain, right? So here we have the subordinate clauses that have come in parallel. What are the subordinate clauses? Because the company is doing well, because my promotion is almost certain. These are dependent clauses, right? So this is dependent clause 1 and this is dependent clause 2. So what have we seen, people, so far? You will see that the examples, but both should convey the same tone. It's not necessary, people. See, John is rich but stupid. Now, are they the same qualities? Rich is a positive quality, and stupid is a negative quality. But the conjunction has nevertheless come, right? So you don't always say that whenever the conjunction comes, it has to join similar. I mean, it has to join positive ideas. Of course, they must be grammatically in the same form. I hate. I love movies, but hate books. So here you have two things, books and movies. But because you love one and you hate the other, you have used a conjunction but. Are we clear about it, people? So it's not necessary that they have to be positive or negative. Otherwise, you would never use the conjunction but. I mean, the presence of the conjunction but, or rather, shows that they can be used to join contrasting ideas. And those contrasting ideas can be anything. They can be nouns, they can be adjectives, they can be verbs, right? Which is the main verb here? Which sentence? I am. This is the main verb. I am, because it has the main subject I. I am happy. And then you have not, and then you have a clause, right? No, love and hate. Both are main verbs. Both are main verbs, and both the main verbs have been joined by the conjunction and. Look at this sentence. What are the main verbs here? The Mughal Emperor Babur captured, fixed, and proceeded. They all are main verbs, right? Love and hate are adjectives, people. I mean, of course, in love and hate, they both are the verbs as well. Okay, so shall I go to the next sentence, people? I am just giving you examples so that you get a better understanding. So I am happy termed as may. Yes, I am happy is the main clause, and then you have dependent clauses joined by the idiom not X but Y. Now look at this sentence here. Not many of us know that William Shakespeare, right? The Bard of Avon and one of the greatest dramatists of all time. So what has and joined? And has joined two things. The first is the Bard of Avon, which is nothing but a description. It's a modifier. And the second thing is one of the greatest dramatists of all time. So can I say that that the conjunction and is joining two phrases which are acting as modifiers? The first phrase is the Bard of Avon, and the other phrase is one of the greatest dramatists of all time. Is it clear to you, people? Yes, they both modify Shakespeare. So I can remove one of them. I can remove this, right? I can say that not many of us know that William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, was also a very good businessman. I can have only one description, right? The Bard of Avon. I can add n number of descriptions. I can say Sachin Tendulkar, the greatest batsman on the planet, was born in Mumbai. So what is the modifier here? The greatest batsman on the planet, correct? Sachin Tendulkar, comma, the greatest batsman on the planet was born in Mumbai. Now I can add one more modifier. I can say Sachin Tendulkar, comma, the greatest batsman on the planet and the first Indian to score a century at Lord's was born in Mumbai. So what I have done, I have used the conjunction and to join one more modifier. Correct, people? That means whenever I join something, I must have two similar ideas to join. I cannot join the Bard of Avon with businessman, can I? That would be absurd, right? If I have to add something, I would say that William Shakespeare was also a very good businessman and a lawyer. Now that makes sense. What is and joining now, people? It is joining a lawyer and a businessman. Are you getting my point, people? So whenever you see a conjunction, you must learn to guess as to what that conjunction is joining. And the moment you get the right connection, you have got the right meaning. Now look at this sentence. Taking a walk on an empty beach and staring at the moon on a starry night are the activities that I love the most. So, what has and joined people? The and has joined two things. The first thing is, yes, taking a walk. Don't say walk and staring, taking and staring. So, the first thing is taking a walk, and the other thing is staring at the moon. These are the two activities that have been joined by the conjunction and. People, can I go ahead? Please ignore this option for a while. Let's not consider this. These are absolute phrases. And if you don't know, this is also a modifier, a kind of modifier. The citizens of Berlin resigned to their fate, right? This is basically the main idea. And what is the modifier? The modifier is their country ravaged by war and their hope shattered forever. These are two modifiers. Modifiers never have a verb in them. Always understand this. Citizens are getting modified, correct. Their country ravaged by the war, it is modifying citizens. Their hopes shattered forever, it is modifying citizens. Very good. And therefore, are you getting my point, people? Now, look at the next sentence. Macaulay's great capacity. Please tell me what are the modifying elements. This is the sentence, people. The sentence is continuing here, okay? So there is a huge gap because of the error here. Tell me what are the ideas that are being joined. Macaulay's great capacity for affection found its satisfaction in the attachment and close sympathy of his sisters, right? So can I say in the attachment and what? Sympathy. So this and is joining two ideas. What is the first idea? Attachment. And the second idea is sympathy. It is joining many more things. Look at this and. What is this and joining? This and is joining who remained in almost daily contact. Who refers to whom? The sisters. Who remained in almost daily contact and whose children were to him as his own. So, and whose refers to what? Sisters. Are we clear, people? So, I would say, my brother, look at this sentence now. My brother, who is a lawyer, correct, and whose company I enjoy, is naughty. So what is the verb here, people? My brother is the subject and is the verb, right? My brother is naughty. And what have you joined by this conjunction and? You have joined two modifiers. The first modifier is who is a lawyer and who refers to whom? My brother. My brother who is a lawyer and whose company I enjoy. So can I say that and is joining two dependent clauses? One is who is a lawyer and the other is whose company I enjoy. Is naughty and amiable, right? So this and is joining what? Naughty and amiable. So wherever you have the conjunction, you have the joining. And you must understand the moment you join, you add. Are we clear about it, people? Look at the last example now. The British introduced Western concepts to education in India, supporting what? The replacement of Persian by English, supporting the use and the training. So what are the three elements that have been joined? The first element is the replacement. Supporting what? The replacement. Supporting what? The use. Supporting what? The training. So how would you say? The British introduced Western concepts to education in India, right? Supporting what? The replacement, the use, and the training. So you learn how to spot the parallel ideas, right? Parallel ideas are similar ideas, and because they are similar ideas, they must be in the same form. Is this clear to you people? Now, is the concept of parallel construction clear to you all? Yes, always look for conjunctions. So whenever you read your sentences, you always look for conjunctions. The moment you see a conjunction, you must understand that a similar idea has come before, and the author is joining those two ideas. And when you start reading with these kind of concepts in mind, you will get a better understanding of the sentences. Shall I go to the next? That is the questions now. Please take the first question. Please take the first question, people, and tell me what is the right answer. So in the earlier sentence, I would repeat found, killed, and not liberating, it should be liberated. So found, killed, and liberated. So this is correct. Here you have finding, but you have liberated and killed. So that's why finding is incorrect. Here you have liberating, but it should be found, killed, and liberated. People, please find the errors in B, C, and D. Please let me know the errors in statement B, C, and D. So let's have a look here, okay? Let's have a look. I will just read this for you. Like every Italian, who is being compared like every Italian? Michelangelo, right? Like every Italian, Michelangelo. Like every Italian, you are comparing what? Michelangelo's habits. Do you think this is the right comparison, people? It is not the right comparison, right? You must not say like every Italian, Michelangelo's habits. You cannot compare Italian with Michelangelo's habits. You should say like every Italian's habit, Michelangelo's habits. Are you getting my point? Like your dog, my dog is restless. Or do you say like your dog, I am restless? Can you compare your dog with me? When I can compare your dog with my dog, I can compare you with me, but I can't compare myself with your dog. So you must have similar entities that are being compared, and that is the reason why B goes out, because you are comparing every Italian with Michelangelo's habits, which are illogical comparison. I think the voice is there. People, can I go ahead? Okay. Like every Italian, Michelangelo was of the habit to address, was of the habit to address, or was in the habit of addressing. I mean, what is the right phrase? Is this the right phrase, people? Or is this the right phrase? You tell me. I was in the habit of, correct? So can I say C goes out because it is awkward? So I have to compare A with D, correct? Like every Italian of culture, Michelangelo was in the habit of addressing little pieces and of casting his thoughts. What is wrong with A then? Michelangelo was in the habit of addressing, but how can you say to cast? It goes out, right? A is incorrect because you are adding to cast with addressing. Here you are using addressing and casting. So D is the best answer. Everyone has understood this concept? Shall I go to the next question, people? See, the examples are quite simple, but these are just very ordinary examples. Once I give you very tough questions, which I would take in the subsequent sessions, I would not give you very tough things right at the start. Please take the third, fourth, and the fifth question. I am yet not giving you challenging questions. I will come to that later on. Please take the third, fourth, and the fifth question. The fifth is not visible, so take the third and the fourth. I will drag. If you can scroll it down, then take the fifth question as well. If you can scroll down, then take the fifth question as well, or else take only the third and the fourth question. People have marked. What is the answer for the third one? The voyage of Peter in search of another world has been less fortunate than. Do you think this is the right comparison, people? What is wrong? If anything is wrong with this, what is wrong? If anything is wrong with this, then what is wrong? The voyage of Peter, right, has been less fortunate not than Columbus, but has been less fortunate than the voyage of Columbus. Are you getting my point? The voyage of Peter has been less fortunate than the voyage of Columbus. You cannot compare the voyage of Peter with Columbus. Right. So I would say my marks are greater than you or greater than your marks. Which one would you say is correct? My marks are greater than your marks. To say that my marks are greater than you is basically incorrect. So same is the case applied here. The voyage of Peter in search of another world has been less fortunate. What is wrong with this here? So those refers to what? Those refers to voyage. But it is singular and this is plural, and therefore even B goes out. The voyages of Peter has been less fortunate than those, because you have used voyages, right? So even this goes out. D is the best choice. The voyage of Peter has been less fortunate than what? That of Columbus. That refers to what? The voyage. Right? Take the fourth question, people. The fourth question has been solved, right? Let me discuss the fourth question then. And what is the fourth question? The fourth question says, the Greek philosophers, what is this part, people? What is this called as? It's a modifier. This is a modifier. The Greek philosophers, having been heavily influenced by Socrates, having been heavily influenced by, right? So I think A goes out, because you must have by here. Correct? So the Greek philosophers, having been heavily influenced by Socrates, by Socrates, by Socrates. So the Greek philosophers, but then how can you have has here? Because this is plural, right? So it must be have. So B also goes out. The Greek philosophers had largely dispelled superstition. What is better in C and D? In D, where is the verb? Where is the helping verb? In D, where is the helping verb, people? So D is incorrect, correct? Because there is no helping verb. The Greek philosophers had largely dispelled superstition, experimented in government, and turned life into rational art. So this had is basically doing the job of the helping verb. Here you have dispelling, but you don't have the helping verb, and therefore this sentence looks incomplete. Are we clear about it, people? Take this fifth question now. Take the fifth question, people, and tell me what is the answer. Okay. So what happens here? There is in human beings, what is wrong with A? I mean, the moment you say as plants and animals, human beings become plants and animals. Are you getting my point? When you say there is in human beings as plants, as if the human beings have become plants and animals, it's not bringing out the right idea. There is in human beings as in plants and animals. What? A certain natural impulse of growth. Correct? So B is the right answer. What is wrong with C? What is wrong with C, people? There is in human beings, as in plants and animals, a certain natural impulse of growth. And this is just as true of X as of Y. So you must have as true of X as of Y. So isn't this the parallel way of writing this as the sentence? As true of X as of Y. This is as true of you as of me. Correct? So you would say that, and this is just as true of mental as of the physical development. So can I say that C goes out because of the missing of? And what is wrong with D? That is in human beings, and this is just as true. The as is missing, and therefore even D goes out. So people, do you get these kind of structures which help you create parallel ideas? Parallel ideas always come in between idioms. What is that idiom? Not X but Y. As X, so Y. Can you frame a sentence as X, so Y? As you sow, so shall you reap. Right? As X, so Y. Not only X but also Y. Correct? Either X or Y. Neither X nor Y. As X as Y. Rather X than Y. So these are all idioms. And whenever you have, not only is he intelligent but also smart. Not only is but also, as you look good so you as you look good so you no. Also, yes. Let me go to the sixth question, people. So people, I hope you are following these instructions. Let us go to the next one. Take the sixth question. This is a very simple question. The sixth one. Sixth C. What is wrong with A, people? The duty of the skeptical parent is plain, right? To save the child, to preach the uselessness, and to endure. Correct? So A goes out. Saving the child, preaching, but this is enduring. So B goes out. So it is to save, to preach, and to endure. Makes sense. C stands. To save the child, but preaching is not correct. So D goes out. Correct? So let's come to seventh question. These are all simple concepts. Okay. Take the seventh question, people, and tell me what is the answer. So you would say the patient, in direct proportion to the degree of his dementia, loses his capacity and builds up, right? So don't you think this and is joining loses? Correct, people? So the patient loses his capacity and builds up more and more a world of his own. So if this sentence comes in reading comprehension, would you read the entire sentence? Would you read the entire sentence word by word? Or would you simply say the patient, and what kind of patient? The patients of dementia. The patient of dementia loses his capacity to recognize and builds up more and more a world of his own. That's it. So when you understand grammar, then you can cut down on the unimportant ideas, right? I mean, if I am reading this in the RC and I know that I did not read everything, I would simply say the patient of dementia loses capacity and builds up more and more a world of his own. That's it. I would not read all this nonsense in which he lives and capacity to recognize what the reality of his environment. Why should I read this in the very first reading? So people, if you know grammar, in fact, you can read efficiently because you know what to read and what not to read. That is precisely why why students these days have difficulty in RCs, because they think that everything is important. You know what is important? The main subject and the main subject's main actions are important. So when you see a long sentence, don't worry about that long sentence. You pick the subject and you pick the actions performed by that subject. What kind of actions? The main action. That's it. The whole sentence basically stands on the subject and the verb. And what kind of verb? The main verb. Are we clear about it, people? What is wrong with B? The patient loses his capacity and builds, right? You should put a conjunction before. Without conjunction, you can't have the joining. So even B goes out. The patient loses his capacity and builds up more and more a world of his own, right? So C looks good. The patient, in direct proportion to the degree of loses capacity to recognize, not in recognizing. I lost my capacity to do something, not my capacity in something. Are we clear about it, people? How keen, how logical, and how reasonable. Similar ideas. So no one who has ever argued with a paranoid will forget how keen. This is not parallel, right? So A goes out. How keen, how logical, and how reasonable. So B makes sense, correct? How keen, how logical, but and the reasonable. So it is not in the same form. C goes out. No one knows, will forget the sense of reality, but then how logical and how reasonable is fine, but how, this is not parallel. So D goes out. It's a simple question, people. Similar ideas. How is missing, right? So these are just very conceptual questions. Okay. Please take the ninth one. Please take the ninth question. All these examples will teach you how to frame ideas, how to read sentences, because these are the kind of sentences that you would come across in the exam. So if you don't know how to absorb critical information, then you will never be able to comprehend, because comprehension is all about absorbing critical information and not absorbing the less critical or the less important or the unimportant information. Please take the ninth question and tell me what is the right. Not by X but by Y. This is the idiom, right? So how would you say I scored 100 percentile not through hard work but through malpractice, right? So not through X but through Y, correct? Which sentence has that? Look at A. The Mughals may be said to have re-established Persian influence not so much by X as by Y. So not so much as something. So what is not so much? By bringing. As you have through, right? You should have ing form. A goes out. The Mughals may be said to have re-established Persian influence not by bringing, not so much. So you should have so much, correct, people? Because if you say not by bringing, then you should have but by something. I hope you are following me. If you want to make B correct, you should say the Mughals may be said to have re-established Persian influence not by bringing in something, but by doing something different. But the structure but by is just not there, so even B goes out. So here is the answer. Not so much by bringing as by propagating. Is D clear to you all, people? The Mughals may be said to have re-established Persian influence not so much by bringing in something as by enthusiastically propagating all things Persian. Not so much. So much is, yes, 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 yes. It's an idiom. Not so much x as y, where x and y have to be parallel. So how would you say? You will say, I am not so much interested in I am not so much interested in mathematics as in physics. Oh, sorry, I am interested not so much in mathematics as in physics. That is how you would write. So you would say, I am, correct, interested, correct. I am interested not so much in physics, right, as in mathematics. So what has come in parallel, people? In physics, in mathematics, correct? Are we clear? Is everyone following me? People have marked A. What is wrong in the other sentences? What is the error? System as large and complicated as the Earth's crust or the stock market can break down, can break down, can break down, can break up, can break down. So can I say can break up is wrong? Can break down not only under but also at. Can I say that the prepositions are important to create parallel construction? Can I say prepositions are important to create parallel construction? So the pen is not on the table but in the drawer, correct? What has come in parallel, people? Can you please tell me? What are the ideas that are in parallel? The pen is not X. What is X? On the table. But what? In the drawer. So what is the critical element? In and on, which has come in parallel. Of course, table and drawer, but the position is more important than the table and drawer. In fact, the position is the critical element. The pen is not on the table but in the drawer. So the position is basically the critical element and therefore they must be parallel. So A looks parallel. What is wrong with B? Can break down not only the force, but how can you say at is parallel with the force? It goes out. Here you have under, but here you don't have the prepositions. So the prepositions are missing in statement B and D. A is the right answer, people. Everyone is happy with this? Shall I go to the next question? Please take the 11th. This is the last question for the day. 5 questions you can take as homework. Take the last question. 1.5 hour session is big, is long enough for the online sessions. In grammar, I have tough time. I have to keep on speaking all the while. Things are way better in the reasoning comprehension sessions. Please tell me what is the correct sentence in 11th question. People have marked D. Both X and Y. This is the idiom. Both X and Y. People, are we clear about it? Both X and Y is the idiom. X and Y must be in the same form. So his work stands both as a rebuttal and as a tribute to the power. Correct? So it looks good, right? Nothing seems to be wrong. What is wrong with C? His work stands as both a rebuttal. So if as has come outside, then I should not keep it inside here again. C goes out. People, are we clear about it? His work stands both as a rebuttal and you must put as here. As is missing and therefore B goes out. What is wrong with A, by the way? What is wrong with A? both X, right? You must not have and, because both is doing the job, right? So why should you have also? Remove also. So his work stands both as a rebuttal and as a tribute. So basically A is also having the error, and therefore D is the best answer. His work stands as, right, you should keep as with this. I mean, that is the correct way of expressing the sentence. I mean, that is more idiomatically closer to the right expression. Your doubt is valid. I would keep as inside. I would not keep it outside, because that makes the entire structure awkward. I mean, this is a good doubt. He said that can we have as outside? I would say I would rather keep as inside. His work stands both as X and as Y is a better structure than saying that his work stands as both X and Y. Are we clear about it, people? So how was today's session, people? I hope that you learned a lot about what is good writing. See, people, these things will help you become a good reader. I have seen that many people are indifferent to grammar. You can't be indifferent to grammar. I keep on emphasizing that you cannot become a good writer without knowing grammar. Similarly, you can't be a good reader without knowing grammar. And let me tell you, people, I post questions on the Facebook group, and I deliberately post good questions on sentence correction so that you people develop the habit of good reading. The Facebook group, people